Numbers 5, 6, and 7 are talking about the area of the polygon with the given coordinates. So we've got cup, cats, and math. So I'll do cup first, which is at -2, 4. U is at -2, 0. And P is at 1, 3. So there's cup. I need to find the area. This is a triangle, so the area is going to be 1/2 base times height. This formula is on the blue sheet if you need it. The base and the height must be perpendicular to each other. So what I'm going to do is, I like it when my base is just something I can count, because perpendicular to that will be something I can count as well. So I'm going to say that CU is my base and that my height is this dotted line right here. So if I count, the base for my triangle here will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1/2, 4 times the height, which is 1, 2, 3, which will give me an area of 6 units squared. Then if I'm trying to do cats, K will be at 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A will be at 3, 4. T is at 6, 1. And S is at 7, 2. So I've got a rectangle here for cats, and in order to find the area, that will be base times height, or length times width. And that means I'm going to need to know the length of ST and the length of AT. You could also use AT and KA, or KA and KS, or KS and ST, but I'm just going to go with these two right here. So in order to find the length, also known as the distance, I'll use the distance formula, which is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I'm going to move on to a darker pen. All right, so let's write this so we can see it a little better. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. If I'm finding the distance for ST, that will be the square root of 7 minus 6 squared plus 2 minus 1 squared. 7 minus 6 is 1, 1 squared is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1. So ST is actually going to be the square root of 2. Then we will find AT, which will be the square root of 6 minus 3 squared plus 1, we're doing AT, so 6 minus 3 and 1 minus 4 squared. 6 minus 3 gives me 3, and 3 squared is 9. 1 minus 4 gives me -3, and -3 squared is 9. So I get the square root of 18. In order to find the area, I need to multiply these together. Anytime you have numbers under the radical and you're multiplying them, you will multiply what's under the radical together. If there was a coefficient, you would multiply this coefficient by this coefficient. There are no coefficients, so we don't need to worry about it. So we can do 18 times 2 to get 36. So the area, where am I going to write it? I'll write it right over here. The area is the square root of 36, also known as 6 units squared. Now, if we are looking at number 7, I'll do number 7 in a new color. Number 7 is math. We've got m at -1, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you count it because sometimes these numbers can be misleading. A is at 0, -2, 1, 2. T is at 3, -3. And H is at 2, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I look at this, I can see that to get from M to H, I go up 1 and over 3. I go up 3 and over 1, over 3 and down 1, down 3 and over 1. So because it's always 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, I can tell that this is a square. So I really only need to use the distance formula one time. So I'll do the distance of MH. For the distance of MH, if you didn't see that it was a square, that's okay. You could just do the distance for MH and the distance for AM, and that would be fine. So to find the distance of MH, I will do x2 minus x1. So 2 minus -1 squared plus -6 minus -5 squared. So 2 minus -1, if we have minus and negative, those come together to become a positive. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And -6 minus and -5, again, those become positive. So -6 plus 5 gives me -1. 3 squared is 9. -1 squared is 1. So this becomes the square root of 10. So that gives me one side length. So you're not done. That just tells you the length of side MH. That will be the same as side MA. So if I multiply square root of 10 times the square root of 10, because it will be base times height, and I know both of them are the square root of 10, I'll get the square root of 100, or the area is equal to 10 square units.